Good morning, everybody. Going to answer a couple questions today, questions that rolled in from the interwebs. Question number one was about snatching, probably everybody's favorite lift, the barbell snatch, the full snatch, as a matter of fact, the squat snatch, as you may hear it called also. And the basic question was from somebody who said snatching causes them an amount of pain significant enough for them to question whether or not they should continue snatching for the rest of their life, or they should just give up on snatching. And if they did give up on snatching, was that going to be such a huge hole in their fitness that they would suffer for the rest of their life and not recover? So that's kind of question number one. And then question number two, which was a cool, fun one to put a little bit of thought into, was what movements, or just some kind of things in general, maybe I don't think get the respect that they deserve, or potentially don't get programmed as frequently in general as maybe they should because they don't have the flash of some other movements, yet they deliver a lot of benefit. So that was a fun one to think about. But we'll start with the snatching question here and see how we do for time. So the individual's question: snatching causes them pain that other movements don't. Is it okay to just not snatch again? Period. End of story. And how will that negatively affect your fitness? So, I guess the short answer is, could you not snatch for the rest of your life and still be wonderfully fit and live a high quality of life? Short answer is yes. Yes, you could. The longer answer is, would there be some things that are neglected a bit or would be well served by snatching? Well, that's an obvious yes as well. But yeah, you could do it and you could be happy and healthy, and most people would never know that you never snatched unless you decide to enter an Olympic lifting competition. I think at the heart of the question for this person, if they're watching, I would say, first of all, truly and genuinely try to seek out, why is this happening to you? Why do you have this level of pain on this one specific movement that doesn't appear to be happening in other movements? And I don't just mean seek it out from the interwebs. I don't mean ask your buddy. I mean seek out professional, competent, high-level care that knows what the heck they're doing to find out what's truly going on with you. And then I would assume it could go in one of two directions, right? This wonderful professional checks out this person and finds out why that pain exists in that movement pattern, and there is a way to correct it. Whatever it is, whether it takes a long time or a short time, they're like, yep, we've got a path to make you happy again. Here's what we'll do. Well, then great. If you follow that protocol with patience, then, at some loading or some rep range, but in the future, it sounds like you could potentially work the snatch back into your lifting regime. Excellent. Well, there's the other part of that, right? Maybe this individual feels this way during the barbell snatch based upon some significant traumatic thing that happened to their body that isn't going to be corrected. A car accident, a significant broken bone, that did not heal properly and will be forever changed, and that forever changed their posture or something, and that's just, hey, you know what? Sorry, that happened to you and how your body is. We can't do much to correct that. There's no amount of physical therapy that's going to change a structural difference now. And so in that case, then the answer might be, yeah, you're not going to be able to do that lift if you can identify that that one causes you pain, remove it from your arsenal, and drive on. So it depends upon, get in front of a professional and then figure out whether it's temporary or permanent. First of all, figure out why, and then is it temporary or permanent, and start to go down that road. Now, let's just say they could not barbell snatch ever again for the rest of their life. There's probably CrossFitters around the world that would just be crying and jumping off bridges if that was the case. If this was our client in our gym, in our care, and we got this news, hey, no more snatching for me for the rest of my life. Okay, well, then we can kind of reverse engineer it to make sure we're still delivering as much fitness and as much benefit to this person without that wonderful movement, as possible. So we could say, what is it that somebody gets from the barbell snatch other than trying to look cool on social media? And it's like, well, it's the most complicated lift that you can do with a barbell, hands down. And so that in and of itself, to put it simply, you have to use your brain. It's tremendously demanding of technique and the neurological components, the coordination, accuracy, agility, and balance. And so that would be sorely missed by just replacing it with a simpler movement. So we'd like to find something that is also a relatively complicated lift, although nothing will be as complicated as the full snatch, but we can find other good movements out there. The snatch, because of those neurological components, play a significant role in developing power and speed also. So we'd like to find something that can develop power and speed. But hopefully you're following the bouncing ball here, that we can find lifts other than the snatch that are neurologically demanding and that develop power and speed. So that's good news for our client. It's a fast lift, right? It's not a slow lift compared to a deadlift or a back squat or something like that. It's got an explosive hip opening, so it's a fast lift with powerful hip drive, which is wonderfully beneficial to athletic development and fitness. Well, we can find other lifts that have a fast hip opening as well. It's got a big range of motion, right? We're taking something in the full snatch from the floor and getting it all the way to locked out overhead, and in the middle we're passing below parallel. So it has a tremendous range of motion that might be tough to duplicate, but is possible. So we get a big range of motion as well. And so now, if it was just the full snatch that caused our athlete a little grief, and I'm going to take everything out. Maybe it's something with the way that the shoulders are overhead in that wide grip, so we're just going to assume they can't power snatch, they can't hang power snatch, etc., etc. Well, we can cover bases with power clean. Now we're not going overhead, power clean and jerk. Now we're going from the ground overhead. We didn't pass below parallel, I'm aware of that, but you're going to move a large load a long distance quickly, just like the snatch, and you've got that explosive hip drive and opening, and it is a neurologically demanding movement. Fantastic. So if our athlete could power clean and jerk, there's a good chance if they're just a regular human being walking around planet Earth and not looking to do an Olympic lifting meet, they will be well served for the rest of their time on this planet by developing capacity in the power clean and jerk compared to just, hey, I can't snatch anymore, no worries. Even better, can they do the full clean, the squat clean, and then go overhead with the jerk? If so, we've got no worries in the world. Sure, it's a slower lift to some degree, but we're splitting hairs here. It's still a fast lift, but not that the boom of the snatch. Will be okay though. So full clean and jerk. If that's maybe a bit too complicated, squat clean thruster, does that work for our athlete as well? And then we can always break it down to simpler things. Maybe pulling off the ground doesn't feel well, they can't go overhead. Maybe they just really embrace the hang power clean. Okay, again, not going overhead, but you're going to get plenty strong. You're going to develop a very powerful posterior chain. Fast hip opening is needed to do that. It is a technically demanding lift. I know that it pales in comparison to the full snatch. But point being, maybe they get in some hang power cleans, they pull some deads on the side, they squat when they can, they do some overhead pressing, and even though now we've dissected the movement, we're still covering all of our bases from a functional standpoint to have our athlete just feeling great out in the real world. So they'll be good to go. So yes, I believe the answer is yes. There are ways, if you could never snatch again, that you would still be great and very, very fit and happy and healthy. But for that individual, find out why you're feeling the way that you are, and then is it permanent or is it temporary? And I hope for you that it is temporary. Okay, let's have a little fun. Fun for me anyway. So the other random question that I saw out in the interwebs was just movements in general that I don't think get the credit that they deserve, are very beneficial. Maybe they're not flashy, and I think should get programmed a bit more or whatnot. And so here we go. The strict shoulder press, not a flashy lift. Everybody, or most people I should say, would benefit from more strict shoulder pressing in their life. Just period, end of story. Medicine ball cleans. As we know, we actually did some medicine ball cleans recently at Linchpin, and everybody was, of course, shocked by how that little fluffy 20 or 14-pound ball was so nasty. So I would say medicine ball cleans once again. And that can be something where they just don't seem cool enough after somebody learns how to clean with the barbell, right? It's like, why would I go back and do med ball cleans? I am above them. I am superior to medicine ball cleans. But that's not the case. There's a lot of fitness packed in there. Strict pull-ups. Strict pull-ups. Everybody, in my opinion, could use more strict pull-ups in their life, and it will make so many other things better for you. So don't be afraid to program those in. And I saw this said a couple times. Sprinting. 100% sprinting. I'm talking 10 by 100 meter dash, 50-meter dash, things that unfortunately I think some, not all, but some affiliates can be a bit reluctant to program because some members or clients might see a 10 by 100 meter dash as quote unquote all that we have to do today for training and be tempted to skip the gym because they may not feel like it's enough. It's going to pack enough of a dose, or I'm going to need to do a little finisher afterwards or something like that, which anyone who has properly executed a 10 by 100 meter sprint day knows that it's more than enough and you don't need to do anything after that other than stretch, go home, and lay on the couch. So hundreds, 50s, of course, all manners of sprinting is fantastic. And then non-foot sprints. I'll tell you what, one of the most terrifying days if I was to pop into an affiliate and if I saw on the docket for that day was 5 by 500 meter row, whoo, man, that is a day that is going to deliver some pain, but in a good way, a brutally effective day. So things like 5 by 500 meter rows, every now and then going quite short as well. So there's a workout that we program every now and then, not flashy at all. It's on the air bike, 12 calories for men, 8 calories for women. And you go every 3 minutes for 10 rounds. And so at first glance, that's another one that it doesn't seem like it's enough. You're like, okay, so I'm going to hop on the air bike. I'm going to pedal as hard as I can, get 12 calories. So let's say that takes me, depending upon how crazy you are on the bike, 18 to 25 seconds. Then you're going to rest the remainder of that 3 minutes. So I'm going to get like 2.5 minutes rest. Then I'm going to go again. Like, this is such an easy workout. This is not enough. But what it allows you to do is express intensity in a manner that you can't a lot of other days because there's so much work in there. And by the end of that, every 3 minutes for 10 cycles of 12 or 8 calories in the bike, you've got no question as to why that was enough and that's all that was programmed today. So I would say things like that as well. And then just going long. Again, things that seem so boring but are so critical to your fitness and deliver the goods. But I think some affiliates fear programming them because they think the members won't show up. And I'm talking about run a 5K, right? Run a 5K. And I know what I've heard some people say, well, why am I going to go to the gym and run a 5K? I can do that on my own at home. That's true. You can. But here's the other side of that coin. Most people won't. And so the wonders of peer pressure, if you actually show up to the darn gym on that day, you'll actually run the 5K instead of saying, I could do that on my own, and then never actually running the 5K. So there's the benefit right there. Same with, rowing a 5K. Knees to elbows. Knees to elbows. I'm a huge fan of knees to elbows. Don't confuse that with me saying that I'm good at them. I'm just saying I'm a huge fan of them. If I had to only do knees to elbows or toes to bar for the rest of my life with the end goal of work capacity, fitness, I would choose knees to elbows beyond a shadow of a doubt. I think the amount of flexion needed to bring your knees to actually touch your elbows, not knees to triceps, not knees to armpits, knees to elbows, is far more demanding than somebody that just has loose hamstrings that can just whack their feet on the bar over and over and over again on toes to bar. However, sadly, knees to elbows isn't as easy to judge in a competition as toes to bar are. And so, you're going to see toes to bar programmed. There's toes to bar is still a wonderful movement, don't get me wrong. Great movement. But if I had to pick between the two, I would pick knees to elbows. But it's a tougher, more challenging one to judge, and thereby you're not going to see it as frequently in competitions. And then sadly, we have the snowball effect that the casual user looks at a competition and figures if that's the movement they chose, that must be the best movement and the most effective movement, and therefore I don't ever see knees to elbows programmed in a competition, so why would I do them? They must not be as good as toes to bar. That's a shame. Embrace real, honest knees to elbows, and you will not be shortchanged. High volume air squats. Oh, yeah. The 1 rep back squat's cool. You need it. The heavy lifts are phenomenal. They're a critical part. We're not just a conditioning program in CrossFit, we're a strength and conditioning program. But if you haven't done high volume air squats in a while, go ahead and throw those back in a little bit and see how they treat you. Or just do a classic Tabata protocol with air squats and report back your feelings on that one. They will be simple, effective, and no gear needed in any way, shape, or form. And again, it's the beautiful thing of unloading the athlete and now allowing the athlete to significantly increase their cycle rate is something that when you're always loading somebody down, you're not getting that aspect. So embrace the high volume air squats. Work in the L sit. Talk about the most not flashy thing in the entire world, but one that just delivers the goods. Work the L sit. Work the L sit and watch everything else improve. Not just thrusters, dumbbell thrusters. Dumbbell thrusters are the gateway to heaven, the gateway to paradise. They unlock the door. And as if regular thrusters aren't bad enough and effective enough, everything's just better with dumbbells. Well, not everything, but dumbbell thrusters for sure are just something where if you develop capacity with dumbbell thrusters, I may not know some other aspects about you. I don't know if you can walk on your hands. I don't know what your 1 rep this or that is. But if you develop capacity with dumbbell thrusters that you don't fear them anymore, you are a ferocious lunatic. And that's just a good thing. Moderate loading, moderate volume squat cleans. I'm talking like a 21-15-9 with a 135 bar or a 95-pound bar. The workout Elizabeth, for example. Elizabeth is 21-15-9 cleans and ring dips. Cleans are 135 for men and 95 pounds for women, and it just says cleans. So everybody will always be like, well, is that power cleans or squat cleans? Well, it depends. If you want to dance with the devil, squat cleans. Squat cleans are the answer. Elizabeth, in my mind anyway, equals squat cleans. Got yourself a workout right there. And I think that's the quick little, that's my quick little list right there. And then there's just a couple other things that aren't movements, but there's one last thing I'll just throw out there is just another thing I would love to see people do on a more regular basis. And that is in a mixed modality, multi-round workout, like your classic CrossFit workout, right? We got some 400, it's 3 rounds for time. We get 400-meter runs. Get back into the gym. There's maybe a set of pull-ups or something, or there's a gymnastics component. And then there's a barbell there. It's power cleans, it's deads, it's front squats, it's whatever it is. But we've got all 3 slices of the pie. Monostructural with the 400-meter repeats. There's a gymnastics element, and there's a weightlifting element. Be different. Okay? And what I mean by that is every single sheep in the herd generally does the same thing. I'm going to play it safe on my run, not really push the pace at all. I'm going to use the run not as a critical part of the workout, but as something I modulate so that when I get back into the gym, everyone can see me be a hero on the barbell and not break it up, and a hero on the gymnastics work. So I will run as slow as I need to if I know myself as an athlete that I get in and I'm in the cool guy unbroken club on the stuff that happened in the gym. Give the run the respect that it deserves. For a while, play this game and see what happens. Break up the stuff in the gym. Reverse it. Use the stuff in the gym, the barbell work and the gymnastics work. Break those up and use those as your recovery to some degree so that when you take off on the next run, you can run like you have a rocket stuck in your rectum, okay? Like the devil is chasing you, and make that the part of the workout that you're going to see if you can be a hero on. Because everybody's the barbell hero, and it's an old story, and it's not an interesting story anymore. You want to be a unique individual that captures people's attention, push the pace on that run, and report back how that feels. So, those would be just my little 2 cents. People wanted my opinion on some various things, so there it is, unfiltered, and hopefully you enjoy it. Hope you have a fantastic day, and embrace knees to elbows and dumbbell thrusters, and life will be great. We'll talk later.